Hey there, welcome back to Stitchocalypse. This is episode 6. I'm Brittany Jinks. This is a podcast that I film in Napa, California, where I'm from and live with my husband and my son. And it's mostly about sewing, knitting. Really, if you've been following me for a little bit, you know I haven't done much sewing. But that could change. Who knows? I kind of just focus on whatever I'm feeling in the moment. But for the most part, as the name of the podcast suggests, any sort of stitching craft is usually where my interest lies. So if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. It's so nice to see you and be able to talk to you about our favorite things. And if you're a new viewer, I hope that you stick around, hope that you find something about this podcast that you like. So you guys can find me on Instagram. And last week I actually did talk about how I was gonna hone in all of my social media presence under one name. And I finally did that. So I am Bestla Jinks on Instagram, and on Ravelry I am also Bestla Jinks, and that should be on the screen about now for you for spelling. And to give a little bit of background on why I changed that is because Bestla in Norse mythology is the frost giantess from Jotunheim, depends on how you pronounce it. She was the frost giantess who birthed Odin, the Allfather, and 2 other gods. And if you've been following me for a little bit, you know that my son's name is Odin. So I thought that was kind of appropriate. So Bestla Jinks, that's me. And then also you can actually find me on Etsy. I'll talk about it a little bit later, but Etsy, I am bestlayarnco.etsy.com. So, and again, I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So let's get into it. Let's start with sewing because I never have anything to show you with sewing. Last week I had talked about the Butterick dress. It was a pattern by Gertie. I'll put a picture of it because I don't recall the number and I didn't grab the pattern, but I'm wearing it. So it's a little bit chilly right now, so I have my denim jacket on. Anyways, so I'm sitting on the couch. This is gonna get weird. Okay. Did you like that? Okay, so gathered skirt. I did the ties so that I can still breastfeed. Odin turned a year old yesterday. No, the day before yesterday. Holy cow, time is going by so fast. So he turned 1 a couple days ago, and he still breastfeeds. Anyways, that's the point. So he still breastfeeds. So I did ties so I could do this. I think my nursing bra straps are hiding pretty well. There is a couple tweaks that I think I want to do to this dress still, but for the most part it's wearable, it's done. So I was excited to have some sewing to show you. Again, this is the from Porto with Love by Cotton and Steel. I love Cotton and Steel. Their fabrics, they're quilting cottons, but I find them to be well enough quality that you can get a really cute dress out of them. And I'm a sucker for a good novelty print. So as I mentioned in the last episode, my family lives about 45 minutes south of a little town in Missouri called Hamilton. And if you're not familiar with quilting or sewing, the Hamilton is home to the Missouri Star Quilting Company. Very big, I would say famous in the quilting community company, and therefore Hamilton is a little bit famous. They do retreats and things like that there. So I'm, again, not a quilter. I am a garment sewer. I love quilting. I cannot people are amazing. We're all amazing. The things that we can do and create, it's beautiful. So I like to go up there. I drag my family up there every time I visit, and I buy myself some fabric as a souvenir. And I've had this in my stash for a couple of years now, and I finally just wanted to cut into it and get a little dress because I'm going to be going back for Christmas to visit. So I thought it would be fun to have my souvenir dress and bring it back there. Anyways, so from Porto with Love, cotton and steel. It's got crescent moons on it and little castle-y things. It's very, very, very cute. I would like to knit. This is a, if you watch Knitting Vicariously with Caroline Dunder Knits, she's so hilarious. I wish that I was comfortable in front of the camera the way that she is. Just like right off the bat, you feel like you're best friends. But anyway, so she talks about knitting vicariously, and I have vicariously been knitting the Popluxe cardigan by Andi Satterlund. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering her name. Anyways, I'll put a picture of that as well. It's this beautiful cardigan. It's got this gorgeous like boat neck, cropped, and she took inspiration from atomic clocks and 50s mid-century style clocks, and has this beautiful like sunburst effect almost over the back, and I think at the bottom of the cardigan in the corners by the you know what I'm trying to say, the center buttons. Anyways, it's beautiful, and I started sewing this up and going through my queue on Ravelry, and I saw those two need to be together. I don't know when I'm going to be able to knit it, but I just think that that cardigan would look so darling with this one because it's already open in the neck, and I can move the bows closer to the front. Anyways, I'm rambling, so that's my hashtag knitting vicariously moment, is at some point doing the Popluxe cardigan by Andi Satterlund. I'm so sorry. Anyways, so there's that. I'm going to put my jacket back on. One moment. Ooh. Bum, bum, bing. Did the magic of editing work? Did we have a night dream of Genie moment? Should start a hashtag like cheesy with Bestla, because that could really just describe my entire life. Just awkward cheesy moments. Okay, so there's my sewing. Next, let's talk about my whips, because I have not a finished object to show. I've been doing some, ¿cómo se dice? Gift knitting. I've been doing some gift knitting. So I can't show that on here because I just saw my little sister subscribe to my channel the other day. Okay, so here it is. This monstrosity. This is my What the Fade by Andrea Mowry. She's coming along. She's knitting along. Okay, I love this. I love this so much. Like, oh my God. How cool. How cool is this? Oh, this actually looks kind of fun with my dress. The brioche is so fun. Like, if you haven't tried brioche yet, I hope that you will. I suck and I've done it. I don't know if I've showed this ghastly mistake on here yet. I was probably saving it till I was finished, but if you're afraid of brioche, fear not, because, well, I guess it's a good thing when you can't find your mistake. Is it? I don't know what happened right here. You can see that the spine of the brioche, like right here, is all gunked up. I don't know what happened. I somehow caught it and kept going like nothing happened. And it's fine. You can't even see it. So you can make a mistake and your brioche will still look amazing. I can't wait to start another project with brioche. So that's where I'm at here. I'm quite enjoying that one still. I am, however, getting a little antsy, wanting off my needles, want to start a new shawl, want to wear this shawl. So I'll probably be spending a bit more time on her to get her done. Okay, so there's that. Let's talk about my sock that was supposed to be for my one sock that was supposed to be for my husband's birthday, which has now come and gone. So maybe it's a Christmas sock. I hope so. So here we are. This is the Oh Hello sock by Buckingham. This is a paid for pattern on Ravelry. I'm using Tosh sock in the Daenerys colorway. Ooh, it's so pretty. I need something in this. This is, I've since turned the heel and I'm working on the foot, like the, what's it called? The foot. It's called something else, but anyways, so I'm working on that now. It's a bit of a slog at this point. It's a shape I've not yet knit before, so I kind of wish that I had maybe done something simple, even though he wanted this. So having since turned the heel, I haven't given it as much attention. These are, I'm knitting it on 2.75 millimeters, which I believe are 1.5 US. These are the Andi, I want to call them flexi tips, but they're not flexi tips. Obviously all the show notes will have proper information, so don't take my word for it. Look down below. So I've been using these, and I really like it. I saw Andrea Mowry using these and other people, but she was just the first person that I had seen using these and had been intrigued. And finally got some at my local yarn shop. Shout out to Marcy, hey! She doesn't watch this. But anyways, yeah. And I've enjoyed using these. It's my first dip into double pointed needles, and as such, I think the flexible centers on these was kind of the way to go. So if you've not seen them before, I would like to try knitting a small circumference with like a 9-inch cable instead of these, but anyways, for another time. If you've followed me for a little bit, you know that Amy Appel, or Poisongrrls, I think her last name is pronounced Appel or Apple, I'm not exactly sure. She got me back into knitting through her patterns. She is a vintage retro punk kind of knitwear designer out of New York, and she is just like the coolest, and her designs are the coolest. And I saw her angel face turban on Instagram, and I thought, I'm gonna give knitting a shot. So after having set my needles down as a child, I picked it back up, and I obviously have not stopped. So I knit 2 of her turbans, the Money Honey and the Angel Face, and then I just finished, as you guys may know, if you're new, I just finished my first adult sweater, which is Amy's beauty school top right here behind me on my unnamed dress form. So I am now working on her Betty and Judy Lodge sweater. I'm knitting this out of Knit Picks worsted, swish worsted. And you know what? It's a lovely little yarn. I'm not somebody who can spend a ton of money on yarn, however much I would like to buy luxury yarn for every project. And this has been just fine. And you know what? I can tell this is gonna be super warm and snuggy and soft. And that's all you want in a sweater, right? So So I've started decreasing here, got my stitch markers. This was a revelation when I saw somebody else doing this on a podcast, and I'm guessing this is common practice to count your decreases. It's changed my life. So, anyways, yep, here we are. Like I've started saying, I started to increase for the armholes early to add volume to the front, as I am busty. And so far I think it's going well. I need to try it on, but I'm feeling pretty confident about it. What's different about this one from this one is that I knit the beauty school top I knit in a large and didn't make any changes except to decrease rather quickly from the bust to the waist, which turned out fine. It was fine. But I wanted to just kind of mix this one up and experiment. So I started, this is a medium, and then I started increasing in such a way that would, I guess, equate to a bust adjustment in knitwear. I haven't found a lot of information on how to do that, so it was a little bit of a guessing game, but so far I think it's working out well enough. So that's my Betty and Judy Lodge sweater by Poisongrrls. I have no idea where this one is going, if it's going to work out, but I just had to cast it on and just see. So this is all that I've done so far, and I've not even told you what it is yet. So these are the Underwing mitts by Erica Heusser. I'm super excited about these because they're kind of rock and roll and a little bit gothy and cool, so I wanted to make them, and I'm intrigued by color work now that I've done my sweater. So I'm using the remainder of my Beehive Yarns Barbarella in Gunsmoke. This is a fingering weight 2-ply. Yep, fingering weight 2-ply with gold STELLINA. And then as the contrast color, I'm using Hedgehog Fibers and Cereal. And this I think is a 4-ply, sock yarn. It's very splitty. It might be my inexperience, but it's kind of splitty. And I am definitely playing yarn chicken with this. I don't think I have enough to make 2 mitts, and I should stop now and just save this, but I'm forging ahead and we'll see where this goes. I could end up with a knotted mess, so we'll see. Okay, so those are all of my whips. No completed objects just yet, but that's okay. This leads me into stash acquisition, and I am on a budget, not just a yarn diet, but just an everything diet. So I am working from stash when it comes to sewing, when it comes to knitting. You know, my Underwing mitts, I didn't buy that. However, I've been dying to get something from Ritual Dyes, and she had her big update after Andi Untangled, and I couldn't help myself. I was mostly, if I'm being honest, I was mostly there for the Flair. So I love her logo. It's so beautiful. And I got her logo hand pin. This is in the pink and copper. And I'm hoping to be able to put it on my knitter's backpack. My birthday and Christmas are coming up, so maybe somebody will gift that to me and my family, but who knows, they're a little expensive, but it would be really cool. So I was mostly there because I wanted that. She was having a big pin update, but also obviously yarn, duh. So I bought a skein of Belladonna, like Okay, her logo for one is so cool. And then this yarn here is really beautiful. It's lighter than I thought. I thought it was going to be a little darker in some spots, but I'm not mad about it at all. It's very, very beautiful. A very beautiful variegated tonally purple. And I already know what I want to make with it. I think I'm going to do my first pair of socks. So this is an 80/20 superwash merino nylon, 400 yards. This is a 2-ply high twist. I think I want to do, again, don't recall the pattern name, but I have been vicariously knitting them in my head and I'm ready to do it. BB's Handmade, I don't know if you watch her podcast, but she was a test knitter for these socks. They're like the rose sock or something. It has this beautiful cabled rose motif from the toe up, and I really, really liked it. And now that I've kind of done my first sock, I'm okay with trying something new. So I thought that this would be really, really beautiful and show off the cabling because it doesn't have too much going on in terms of like speckling or like flashes of color. It's still very you know, sophisticated shifts between the light and the dark. So I think this will be really, really pretty. I just need to get myself a second pair of size 1 needles. So yeah, so I have that, and I'm very happy to add this to my modest but growing little stash here. Yeah, so there's that. And then moving on from stash enhancement, this kind of coincides. At the beginning of the episode, I talked about BestlaYarnCo.etsy.com. So I had showed that I had a bunch of bare yarn that needed to be dyed, and I'm just having so much fun doing that. And I needed a channel to sell it because I don't need that much fingering weight yarn, and if anybody likes what I do, I think that would be, you know, why not share it with them? So I opened up an Etsy shop. I'm thinking that I want to branch out from Etsy to my own standalone. I really like the Shopify platform. A lot of independent business men and women use Shopify, so you can actually have your information auto put in at checkout. I don't know if anyone's ever experienced this, but it's so convenient when you're checking out and Shopify recognizes your email address. They ask if they can send you a text. So they'll send you a text, you put in the confirmation code, and they auto populate all of your information. And some people like that, some people don't. I personally think that it's super helpful when I've got my 1-year-old running around and I'm trying to buy something really quick, or I don't want to constantly have to type out my information. Anyways, I really like that. I think that makes checking out really pleasant. I also just would like to have my own you know, branding going on and stuff, you know, for all the same reasons anybody would branch out from Etsy. How do you guys feel about Etsy versus standalone web shops? Do you like checking out from Etsy from a bunch of different shops at once, or do you enjoy the experience of being immersed? I'm into somebody else's shop, so I'm kind of a retail e-commerce nerd. I really enjoy branding, and I enjoy creating a shopping experience. All of my background is in retail, sales, and then eventually the corporate side of retail. I was a national sales manager, assistant national sales manager at my last job when I got pregnant. I was also the company's trade show coordinator. We were a small team, so I did wear a couple different hats, but I mean, trade show coordinating, that was like so exhilarating. It was the craziest 6 months of my life every year, but totally fun and worth it. And that's personal babble anyways, so I really enjoy creating a space for my customer or a customer. So I'm just interested to know how you guys like that, if you like going to standalones or if you enjoy the marketplace platform that Etsy provides everyone. So enough nerding out about that. Okay, so I do have some yarn to show you that is in the Etsy shop right now if you're interested. If you're not, that is totally fine. I do have some personal babble at the end of this if you'd like to stick around for that. If not, thank you so much for sitting through this. I know this was a long one. I need to work on the timing anyways, but I'm so glad that you joined me today. I hope that you got a couple rows in on your project, you had a chance to drink a glass of wine or maybe some coffee, whatever you need at this moment. And thank you so much. And without further ado, I'm gonna continue on here. So this colorway is repeatable and it might just be my favorite. So this one here is called Tea with Freya. It's a really beautiful blushy peachy pink, and she's got these really deep like maroon speckles, blue and gold in there. So this is my 4-ply 100% superwash merino. I'm calling this base, I don't know what I'm calling this base yet. I've named my BFL. But so this one I haven't named just yet, but this is so beautiful. I have this available in the 4-ply merino, and I also have it on Crescent. I've named it my single ply 100% merino. It's called Crescent, so I have it Crescent and 4-ply merino, and that's Tea with Freya. Let's see, this one was really fun. This one's called Lumpy Space, for all of you Adventure Time fans out there. So this is also on my single ply, or not my single ply, my 4-ply superwash merino. I also have it available on BFL, which I have lovingly named Valkyrie sock because it's strong, like the badass Valkyrie who work for Freya. So I've got those two. This one I also love. I'm having so much fun. I love this one too. So this one here is called Mystic. This is also on the 4-ply and on the Valkyrie sock. And it's a gray lavender. It's a little lighter than what the camera's picking up in terms of like that lavender gray. And it's just speckled with greens and purples and pinks and some blues. And then lastly, I felt like I had to do a Christmas sock yarn because it's Christmas, or you know, if you don't celebrate, this is holiday yarn. So this is on my Valkyrie BFL. This is an 80/20 nylon BFL. So 80/20. And this is just deep greens, red speckles, and then I speckled some yellow in there for some warmth and because it reminded me of apple cider. So I actually call this one Grandma's House because it's classic, and just celebrating at Grandma's house just seems like all the classic Christmas colors. Those are just a couple of what's in the shop. I have some other colors that are in there. I mean, all 4 of these are definitely repeatable. So if you want a sweater's quantity in any of them, I can definitely do that. I think that these would make really beautiful, either super beautiful beauty school sweaters right behind me here, or the Red Moon sweater by Born and Raised Knits. So I think like these could be really pretty as well. Anyways, that's my yarn shop. I hope that you like it. If there's anything that you want to see, or you want, if it's not on the base that you would like, I can always whip that up for you. I do plan on having a dye day tomorrow. I have a lot of fun colorways that I'm working on. There's shop news, I guess you could call it. Moving on to a quick little personal segment, because I'm seeing that this is already 45 minutes long, and I hope that it edits the heck down because that's insane. as I mentioned, Odin's first birthday was this week, so we did a Where the Wild Things Are theme. I did not get to take pictures outside because if you're not aware, California is on fire again. So about 3 hours north of me is the Butte County fire. Being that I live in a valley, all the smoke is just trapped between both sides, like both mountains. And then there's not been really any wind or rain or anything to push it out. So it's not recommended to be outside. I actually have my door open right now just to get some natural light in, and my throat is actually starting to tickle. I don't know if you can hear it. So I really need to close that soon. Anyways, so I couldn't take any pictures of him outside. So we did do his teepee and all of the decorations inside. Which is a little bit of a construction zone, so it's not as, you know, picture perfect as I wanted, but that's not the point. The point is that he had a great birthday and the family had fun. Books. So again, Audible, I'm listening. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's really smoky right now. I need to wrap this up. I'm not skilled enough to read from my book and knit at the same time, so I listen to my audiobooks. And if you've been watching, you know that Voolenvine got me obsessed with the Court of Thorns and Roses series. It's a young adult series. It's like fantasy, romance, just cheesiness, but it's so fun and I'm obsessed. So I had been on the fence about starting another Sarah J. Maas series. She has The Throne of Glass. And wouldn't you know it, I started it anyway, and I'm enjoying it. The first one, again, a little rough. I think that the editing, the editor could have been a little cutthroat, a little more cutthroat with her on that one. I thought that there was a little bit too much fluff. So anyhow, I'm starting that, and that's been really fun. I do have queued up to listen to The Two Towers again because I love Tolkien and I need some high fantasy in my life. Yeah, need to get back to my roots. I think that this is sufficient enough of an episode. I have now hit 50 minutes on my timer, as I can see, which is ludicrous. I hope that somebody has stayed this long. If you have, thank you so much. It's been so fun talking to you. I do not talk to adults in real life very often, being a stay-at-home mom. So this is that day every 2 weeks that is fun for me to talk to people who care about knitting, who care about sewing, who care about nerdy fantasy. But truly, you spending your time sitting here with me, subscribing, liking, any sort of interaction that you give me is it makes my day. It's really lovely. So I saw that I did have a couple new subscribers in the past couple weeks, and I just want to say hi and thank you so much. I hope that you stick around. If you like this video, of course, like and subscribe. As everybody asks, it just helps everyone, really. It's, you know, it helps create a community. So again, thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.